All right. So, President Yellow's present. Vice President's not here, excuse. Commissioner of Disabled Students? Commissioner of Inter-Club Council?
Here.
Commissioner of Information Technology? Or, thank you. Commissioner of Records and Information present. Commissioner of Nighttime Activities?
Excuse me.
Commissioner of Fine Arts and Publications? Commissioner of Commissioner of Athletics?
Here.
Commissioner of Budget and Finance? Commissioner of Student Outreach?
Here.
Commissioner of Daytime Activities? Sully?
Point of order, please keep it down and while Commissioner Garcia is taking roll.
Thank you. Commissioner of Public Relations? Is here. Commissioner of Student Center? Here. Commissioner of Student Services? Here. Commissioner of Career Tech? Here. Commissioner of External Affairs? Welcome. Okay, so with that, we have quorum at 11. No, we have 11.
Point of order, please. Let's keep it down, guys. That's 11, right?
Yes.
Do you have any clarification, Commissioner? We can. However, Commissioner Flores isn't here. I don't know if one of the commissioners want to put up the agenda real quick. Thank you, Party Whip Sanchez. Moving on now to item 4 on the agenda, approval of the minutes. There was no cabinet meeting last week, so there were no minutes.
Those for previous week.
To the point. Is there a motion on the floor? To approve the minutes? It's been a motion on the floor to approve the minutes, second by Commissioner Torres. No objections. We shall approve the minutes from 2 weeks ago. Seeing none, minutes have been approved. Moving on now to item 5 of the agenda, approval of the agenda. I have my copy. Who doesn't have a copy of the agenda and would like to see it? Pass it to Commissioner Ochoa. Email is sent out. Can you please make a note on the minutes to add Commissioner Hernandez to the official contact list for the cabinet? I don't think, I might not have added it yet. Quorum's at 12 with Vice President Nina.
It's not good. He doesn't.
Hello, everybody.
You stand?
I'm going to stay.
Is there a motion on the floor, or would commissioners like to wait until the agenda is projected on the screen? Commissioner Jimenez? There's a second? Second by Commissioner Torres. If there's no objections, we shall approve the agenda for March 9th, 2015. Seeing no objections, the agenda for today has been approved. Moving on now to item 6 on the agenda, public forum. Is there anyone interested in the public speaking at this time? Seeing that there's no one interested in speaking, we will move on to item 7 on the agenda, Dean of Student Services, Communications Dean of Student Services. Dr. Contreras is not here. AJ, does he have a report?
Did you guys not get? Did you guys get a
No.
report? I don't have any extras, so I will get Maria to bring some out. The main thing I want to discuss today is the state of education is scheduled for March 31st. It's in one of the big rooms on this campus, and Dr. Schilling is looking for 20 to 30 students to volunteer to sit on the stage. A couple years ago, they had done this event, and it looked really nice. They had a bunch of student leaders up on the stage, so if you guys want to volunteer, you can see me after the meeting today or shoot me an email and let me know that you want to volunteer, and I'll put you on the list. The mascot naming survey is up, and it's on my Facebook as well as ACC and ICC. There was an issue with the naming on the other Like it wasn't letting people submit the other category with a nomination. So we're extending the survey for another week. So it won't end tomorrow like it was scheduled to. It'll end another week later. And we're still looking for volunteers for commencement. So if you guys are interested in that, please email me your email address and I will put you on the list. March 23rd is the last day to petition for a certificate or AA. So really, it's just this week, because I know you guys aren't going to be around next week. So make sure you guys get it done this week, okay? And the budget committee's been meeting every Friday. They're doing an outstanding job. As a public, you guys are more than welcome to join us. We're meeting from 1 to 5 in this room on Fridays. And the Falcon games are coming. Thank you.
Thank you, AJ, for that report. Moving on now to the ACC President's Report. So really not much to touch on. Last week we didn't have a cabinet meeting, so it's good to see everyone's faces again. And for the new individuals who have been brought aboard on cabinet, how about a round of applause for those individuals? You'll have a chance later to introduce yourselves during commissioner reports, so look forward to that. Moreover, presidential forums are coming up where there will be a forum with the 5 candidates that have been chosen from the presidential hiring committee. And I believe those are March 10th, 11th, and 12th. I can get the times on those, the official times, but they're coming up, and you know, this is a very significant, big deal, because this individual has a huge amount of responsibility, as Trustee Flores can commend to, you know, and this person is going to be here for the next, who knows, maybe 5 to 10 years. They're going to have a huge influx at Cerritos College. So there's 5 candidates. Go check those out as student leaders and represent cabinet. Hydration stations, we'll talk about that in item 8D. Let's see. There's no coordinating committee today. It was canceled. And I think what was on the agenda was to talk about the Student Equity Committee. So if there's any individuals interested in that committee, please express that to me so we can see if there's an open position for you on there. I know some other individuals have also expressed interest. And that pretty much sums up my report. Moving on now to the new ASCC Vice President, Joe Nino.
Hi guys. So I was appointed on Wednesday and approved by the Senate. And it's a lot to take in, it's a lot of stuff, but I'm used to the hard work. One thing I want to inform you guys, I do have a job, and the only day I work is usually on Mondays. It's a time-sensitive job, so if I'm not here sometimes, it's my only source of income, so I'm hoping you guys will be understanding for that. But I'll do my best to be here as much as I can. In addition, recap from the March and March. I'm holding these papers and I'm not reading anything from here. March and March, great event. I see a lot of familiar faces from everybody who came. We established good relationships, and I actually got an email from the legislative aide from Senator Tony Mendoza's office, and I'd like to hopefully give our Commissioner of External Affairs, Commissioner Brown. Yes. All right. And give you that resource and that information, so hopefully we can set up a follow-up process. And I think that's about it. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Quorum has been brought to 13 with Commissioner Garcia. Do a recount, please.
All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah.
Okay, quorum's at 13. Party rep report, Ms. Sanchez.
Alright guys, allergy season, so I'm sorry. Sneezing for the entire meeting. We approved of the Commissioner of External Affairs, Mr. Brown here. Assistant Data Assistant of Public Relations, Assistant Student Center, Assistant of Records and Information, and Associate Justice. There will be a safety committee meeting on March 15th. I don't know the time just yet. We're supposed to get a confirmation. And there's also gonna be a safety, yes,
It's a Sunday?
March 5th, I don't know, somebody said March 15th. I think that was Daniel Flores, he said March 15th.
What?
You said March 15th was the safety meeting?
Oh, we moved it.
Thank you. I was just making sure that you guys weren't coming
March
in
11th.
on a Sunday
March 11th?
March 7th, yeah. Oh,
before spring break.
yeah, I asked them to move it because it was during spring break, so for folks who, sometimes it's hard for people to be here. They don't have rides, sometimes people attend events because they're already here.
Is there a time now?
1 p.m.
1 p.m.?
I have the rules here. I'll give you the rule right now. Hold on, sorry.
What's the date, Dina? Sorry.
Okay. The 11th at 1 p.m. There's also going to be a safety walk with campus police. That's a part of our agenda. And Career Services needs more people to sign up for their workshop. So I have this. The Senate was given the ACCJC report, and they're planning on giving us a copy so we can all read it, so that we can talk about it on Wednesday. We approved of the MUN conference, $835. We appointed Joe, and we postponed the Wilderness Club trip for $2,000, and the presidential veto action will occur next week. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Party Rep Sanchez. Trustee Flores, student?
The meeting, the safety committee meeting will take place March 11th at 1 p.m. in BE 118.
Repeat that one more time, please. Make sure we have it in the minutes.
It's going to be Wednesday, March 11th, 1 p.m. in BE 118 for the safety committee. It was interesting.
Thank you, Trustee Flores.
1:15.
Moving on now to item 8, new business. Item 8A, safety walk. Informational/discussion item, 7 minutes. Police Chief Tom Gallivan shall present the safety walk to the Executive Cabinet. Is there anyone from the police force here? Tom is not able to, or Chief Gallivan is not able to make it today. He sent me an email, so I'll go ahead and read it off. Hi, Miles. Unfortunately, I am not able to attend the Cabinet meeting this afternoon due to a scheduling conflict. Would you please announce to the Cabinet that Campus Police will be scheduling a campus safety walk this month? I would like to invite 6 ASCC students to take part in this walk. The safety walk takes place in the evening and evaluates areas such as lighting, landscaping, building access, and emergency phones to best increase security. I will be facilitating the walk with Director David Moore from Facilities. Please choose one of the following dates that works best with ASCC. Tuesday, March 24th at 7:30 p.m., Monday, March 30th at 7:30 p.m., or Tuesday, March 31st at 7:30 p.m. Please contact me if you have any questions. Okay, so we'll go ahead and open up discussion for 7 minutes. And Tom's asking for 6 students, so what I'm visualizing is, sorry. Yes. There's 3 dates that we have to choose from, so we'll get to that after we establish how many individuals from student government we want. So he's asking for 6 students. What I'm visualizing is 2 students from each branch, Corps, Senate, and Cabinet. Seems pretty equally spread. Is there any opposition to that? Or concerns, questions, opinions?
Would I be able, as a student and as a club member on campus, be able to attend a safety walk?
A member so the public at large?
Yeah.
I don't see why not. You know, it shouldn't only be a representation from student. Thank you. It shouldn't only be a representation from student government. However, what he's asking for right now is just 6 student government leaders. Oh, I can reach out to him and get back to you. Do you want me to take down your name?
Yeah.
Are you interested?
Yeah.
Okay, your name, please.
Juliet Martinez?
So Commissioner Garcia, can you please make a note in minutes to investigate whether or not students from the public can be put on that safety walk? Martinez, right?
Yes.
Thank you for that. So 2 students from each branch. Your thoughts, Cabinet. Party Rep Sanchez?
Is this, there's going to be a safety walk on each of these dates?
No. In that email, it says he'd like for us to pick a date.
Okay.
Is there a motion on the Vice President?
Yes, I'd just like to, perhaps if anybody is taking any night classes, they would be, more familiar with all these appointments, I believe they were at 7:30. So if anybody's taking any night classes and they'd be interested in going, I think you guys should be volunteering.
Right now, I think it's important that we decide how many representatives from each branch are on that committee, and then we can move to who from cabinet would like to be on it. Someone please entertain a motion to have 2 representatives from each branch on the safety line. Commissioner Garcia.
I don't think you should necessarily do the fact that there should be 2 representatives from each branch. I think you should value that what individuals should be on it. Like, it doesn't necessarily matter who the people are on the branches, but who actually think that they value the opportunity to be on it, as in why. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean who on the branches should be there, but and the fact that what their initiative should be there. That it values their capacity for being there.
Okay. Well, I understand where you're coming from.
As their want,
Yeah,
as a real want, because yes, I understand that it should be a thing that if member, at least one member from each branch should go, that should be a valuable reason, but for another, a valuable reason that is like, you did have a person from the student body that wants to go, if she has a valuable reason why she should go or wants to go, because she is from the student body, I think that should be a valuable reason. Like, I mean, honestly, yes, we are a student body, but we did talk about unification and compromise about the students. But maybe that should be a reason that she should be on that committee.
I have Commissioner Mancia next and Commissioner Baker.
So point of clarification, by when do we need to know when these students by when do we need to pick these students?
Who has the email handout? Can you please read off the dates?
Tuesday, March 24th, Monday, March 30th, and Tuesday, March 31st.
So we need to pick
By the nearest date, which
Okay.
is the 24th?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, how about, since you suggested that you get 2 students from each branch of government, that since we have a young lady here that's present and who would like to join, that we just vote on 1 cabinet member and have her interest, like to be part, instead of having 2 people from cabinet, we do 1 person and we have another student who has already expressed their interest in going, to go, so we give up that spot to that student and we just vote on 1 cabinet.
I second that.
Okay, well, wasn't a
It wasn't a
motion.
motion.
Commissioner Castillo on the queue, and then Torres? Okay, Commissioner.
Well, just to clarify, I believe the email said that you wanted 6 student government from student governments, and I totally agree with more students getting involved. But for what the police officer is asking about, I would like 6 students from student government, and maybe he's not clarifying that, you know, he's willing to take on a bunch of people from the public. But for what he's asking in that email, and maybe reaching out to see if we can have, you know, people who are interested go and be on that committee. But for now, to have 2 people from each branch, like Hope said, who express their interest in this city walk, or in this safe walk, and who want to be participated in it. And if it is a possibility that public members can be in this committee, then we can switch that and, you know, act accordingly.
Well, just for a point of clarification, there's nothing solidified as to how many representatives from each branch can be on there. I was just throwing that out there for a suggestion. That would have to be, from all of you, whoever makes a motion, and if it passes, then that's what we're going to go with. Just for to clarify. Commissioner Castillo.
Okay, so I see where you're going with the point of having 2 from each branch, because in the past that was an issue that we need to be equally from each branch represented, because government isn't just cabinet, it's also senate, it's also court. So I see and I agree where you're going with that. And I think there might be more than 1 person interested in going, and I think the way it works, and it works well, is allowing that student, whoever wants to go, that chance to speak their mind and say why they want to go, and then we vote on who should be chosen, just like we do other things that we have committed, where there's interest from more than 1 student in the cabinet, we vote as a cabinet on who, after they say their speech, why they're interested.
Okay. Commissioner, time's expired. Okay, with that, time's expired. Is there a motion on the floor? Commissioner Torres?
I move to extend the session for 1 more minute.
Second? Second by Commissioner Ochoa. There's been a motion on the floor to extend time by 5 minutes.
1 minute.
1 minute.
Use the last one.
If there's no objections, we shall extend time for 1 more minute.
Can we do 2 minutes?
Do you want to amend the motion?
I'd like to amend this motion
To have discussion for 2 minutes?
to have discussion for 2 minutes.
Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Torres. If no objections, we shall have discussion for 2 more minutes. Commissioner Torres?
I believe that, yeah, we're trying to be
Yeah.
equal. Like I said, I think what Commissioner Garcia, I think she had a good idea, maybe having 1 representative from each branch and then the other 3 people would be like students at large. You know, if someone from the audience wants to go, then that should be fine. I think having 1 person from each branch would be okay enough so that we can say that they are representative, and then somebody else, whoever, if we choose 2 people from cabinet or 2 people from Senate, whatever, then that should be open, but I think at least 3, 1 person representing each branch would be a fair chance.
All right. Is there anyone else? Commissioner Garcia, then Commissioner.
Hey, aren't you? She was Dr. Torres.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get you down. Commissioner Ochoa.
Okay, so the safety walk is already, the safety walk is only 7 students are gonna walk around and see the, 6 students are going to walk around and they get to see all the places where the areas that are safe. Is that what it is? Are dangerous?
I can elaborate. They're going to evaluate the physical layout of the campus and identify where there are needs to improve the safety measures, whether that's relating to lighting, whether that's relating to telephones to call for emergencies.
Oh, okay. But I don't say, if it's like, why is it only 6 people on it?
I thought it was like a cancer, or like something like that where everybody walks for the cause of peace.
Oh, no. This is,
That's why I was like, yeah, we can have everybody.
Commissioner Garcia, this will be the last point because time has expired. If you want to go real quick.
Specifically, what this is what he's doing is considered a lighting survey. A lighting survey is something that you constitute when you do a security survey of a position or a juxtaposed an area of this position, is to look at how far the lighting of the areas are done in a area of this magnitude, is to see how the lighting is being done, how many inches it is from one area to the next, if that lighting is being recommended in a certain area, if the lighting is wrong, if it's been completed in the correct way, if the lighting is too dim in a certain area, if there's enough emergency lighting in a certain place, if there's enough phone areas for that spot, if we've had areas where there's been theft in certain areas or in too many areas in that place, if the lighting has been, if lighting was not in that specific area, and that's where people have been getting hurt in past, so do we put more lighting in that specific area? This happens in all places when we have areas this big for security purposes. They're supposed to be done 6 months, every 12 months. This is done normally in campuses at large, and what they're doing is they're giving you guys an opportunity to bring the campus or students at large to bring you into this to see what they're doing, so that we can find out if we need more money or more taxation to that area, so that we can actually bring the funding in to fix it. So this is so that if we have places where people have been getting hit, as in having knives or situations, or people are lighting out in the campus or in the parking lot, if we can get better lighting, or if we should have more expensive lighting because the lighting is too dim. That's exactly all it is. It's just giving you an opportunity to see what the campus police is supposed to be doing for that area. They're just giving you an idea of what they want. That's the better juxtaposed answer.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. With that time's expired, is there a motion on the floor?
Yeah,
Commissioner
can we
Clayton?
extend discussion for 30 seconds? Debate open.
Is there a second?
I said.
Second by Commissioner Hickman to extend. No objections. We should have discussion for 30 more seconds.
So why,
Oh,
what is?
wait, you gotta wait for an objection if there's.
Oh, okay.
Okay, no objections. We'll have discussion for 30 seconds.
Okay, what if we go ahead and make a list of everyone who is interested in all the different branches? Maybe there's like 1 person interested in the justice, or, 3 from such, like, why don't we make a list, and then by the end of the week decide who gets to go? So that way, we don't have the pressure of 2, 2, 2.
Okay, excellent point. And there's 8 seconds left. Commissioner.
The only problem with that is that we don't have a cabinet meeting next week, so if it's by the end of the week, we can't really vote on it, so it would just be people deciding, okay, this person, this person, this person, we go instead of us. Unless you guys want to all meet up on like Friday and, you know, vote it out to see
But we do have.
which,
Hold on, Commissioner Uba.
I forgot. Whatever I was saying.
So with that, time has expired. Is there a motion on the floor on how to proceed?
Then maybe that's to get on with this week.
It's been a motion to open up nominations. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Garcia. If there's no objections, we should now open up for nominations. Object?
Can I say something?
Is it an objection?
No.
Okay, then not at this time unless it's a point of clarification. There's no objections? Okay, we should now open up for nominations.
Nominate yourself.
And you can nominate yourself. Thank you for that. Party Rep Sanchez.
Can I nominate myself?
Yes, ma'am.
You guys are making us.
Anyone else interested? Commissioner?
I nominate Sullivan, or Commissioner.
Commissioner Jimenez.
I nominate our public speaker since she jumped up at the opportunity. I think she should go. Juliet Martinez.
I say yes.
Okay. Julia Martinez. Commissioner Khalid.
I'd like to nominate myself.
Commissioner Khalid. And Commissioner Garcia. I think.
Nominate herself.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Commissioner Ochoa.
I'd like to nominate Edgar.
Edgar, do you? Whoa,
Yeah.
I haven't even asking if people accept their nominations.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Anyone accept?
Yes.
And any other nominations at this time? Okay, seeing none, we can go down the list and you'll have 1 minute to say why you feel you are competent and why you should be representing cabinet on this safety law. But before we do that, I think it's important, and please speak your voice if you disagree, that we need to decide on a set amount of cabinet members, because we don't want 5 cabinet members on this safety law.
Yeah.
I move to have 1 from each branch and 3 students at large.
Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Brown. First second, sir. How's that feel? That's good stuff. Amend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I amend that we nominate, if we're gonna go that route, nominate 3 and 3 alternatives, because I have a feeling that once we speak to Chief, he's gonna allow us to have student representatives.
Okay,
You know
so
what I mean? I think he only chose student government because we've come to him with that concern, and we've been trying to work with them, so he sees us reaching out to him. So I feel that he's gonna allow.
okay, so the amended motion is to have 3 cabinet members to be placed on. Go ahead.
1 from each branch
Okay.
and 1 alternative, because I have a feeling that at the end,
From
both
each
are gonna be allowed. And so,
Alternative.
yeah, because at the end, like I said, once we speak to him, I'm pretty sure he's gonna allow the student branch.
So to have 1 from each branch and
1 alternative, just,
In case we can't do students at large.
yes. So,
And-
but there's a total of 6 people.
Yeah.
yeah, so it'll be 2 from each, 2 from cabinet, 2 from court, and 2 from senate.
One
will be
permanent, one
until
temporary.
we can figure it out. One alternative, or
Temporary.
just temporary, because at the end, I feel that he's gonna allow the 6 plus student hours.
Okay, so
But if he
today,
doesn't allow the students,
Then
then
it's just-
we need an alternative.
so today there would be 1 permanent and 1
Yes.
alternative.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second to that? Commissioner Torres, is there a second? There's no objections. That's how we shall proceed with
Point of
nominations.
clarification, that we don't have to have the student at large nominate herself or speak or any of that, or vote on her. Because technically, we're voting on cabinet members.
That's a good point, very good
Yes.
point.
That's another.
Yeah,
She's just automatically going. Yeah, right?
Julia, I'm just gonna get you on that safety walk,
Yeah,
okay?
just get her on it.
That's the bottom line, that's what's happening. Thank you for that point of clarification, that was very important. Okay, so, are there any objections?
No.
And everyone knows how we're gonna proceed. Any clarifications at this time? Vice President Nigo?
Yes, I just think that we should reach out to the police chief, Galvin, and get a final number, because if we're just going to be walking on a safety walk, I'm pretty sure we can bring 6 people.
Okay, that will be done as soon as possible. I will reach out to him right after this meeting. Well, right now, there is a second and no objections on how, and with the amended motion. Okay, so no objections, we shall proceed. Excellent, very well. Okay, Commissioner, well, go ahead and read off the first individual.
Latina Sanchez.
Yeah, we have 1 minute.
Hi guys. I was a nighttime student for a little bit there, and I remember walking this campus at night being terrified. And I even had a stalker when I was walking to my classes, from my classes to my car at 10 o'clock at night. So with the ever-changing landscape and how we get to the parking lots, I mean, I feel like I could be a great advocate for the nighttime students and helping them with their safety.
Anything else you want to add? You have 30 seconds. Okay, thank you, Party Hip Sanchez. And then speakers, please remember to, I'm not very particular on like keeping eye contact with me, but make sure you check back with me, that way I can give you time signals and you can finish what you have to say within the given amount of time. Next, Castillo.
Hi guys. So I am a nighttime student. Have been, I alternate from daytime and nighttime. So I have a lot of contact with nighttime students. Our classes stay at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock basically. For the past 3 years I've been on nighttime classes. So I had to call campus police sometimes when I park my car too far. So, and I know of other students who, areas, because we're in the HS building on that side. So, there's a lot of areas where it's not allowed. So I already come into play with already some ideas of where, so I think that I serve. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Castillo. And just for clarification, it's 30 seconds. And then I'll give you a 10. Commissioner Khalid.
Hi, everybody. I am interested in being as part of the safety walk because I am both a day and nighttime student. We had an incident that happened right outside my class last week where there was safety issues going on. And, as a commissioner of student outreach, I get a lot of teachers and, students who ask me, what is it that they can do? Safety is like a big issue for them. And last week, I went to the Make It Happen Club. They're part of Safe Zone as well. And that building is right in the LA, the Liberal Arts Building, where they've had a few major issues, people videotaping there. So I know a lot of people who have this concern, so I'd like to be able to relegate that information to them.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Khalid.
Commissioner Garcia.
Hi, everybody. Well, everybody knows my background for the most part. I have a bachelor's degree in criminology. I've also been to surveillance and detection school and lighting and surveillance school. So, as far as that's concerned, that's why, sorry, Annie, that's why I would like to go on this walk with the police. Why does that matter to me? Because I have some influence in regards to some of the stuff that I could actually portray to them in regards to their lighting and surveillance for school. I think that I can give them some information that they could use to help pick out some of the information that they would need help from school in the long run. So that's why I would like to be part of this recognition for the lighting survey.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia.
Commissioner Torres.
Commissioner Torres?
What is there to say? Well, I really don't know what to say. I'm a student, commissioner of student services, so I think, I'm pretty sure campus police is under my jurisdiction. But I don't mean it like that. What I'm saying is like, I'm kind of, I am aware of all the incidents that have happened. Because I think I recall last incident that happened about varnishing a weapon. That happened like 30 minutes after I had walked through the same place. Like I said, yeah. So, yeah. But I'm really forgetting.
Thank you, Commissioner Torres. Okay, so will the nominees please step outside unless there's any objection?
Well, we need to vote it.
Oh, yeah, no, wait, they need to vote.
Yeah.
So you have to go one by one.
Yeah. We have
Okay.
Have hard feelings, right?
Yeah.
No.
We're mature here.
What if the commission, Miles, you can do a silent vote. You can do secret ballot. You've done that before.
I'll have those.
Yeah, you write it in.
And this will count.
So you
Okay,
pass
so if there's-
copies around of all the names.
Yes.
And they do.
Should we, the first vote should be on the permanent one, and then the second vote would be for the temporary?
Yeah.
There's no objections, we can do that as well.
Yes. Make
So
it
the
clear.
second highest vote is maybe four.
Is there any point of clarification on what Commissioner Garcia just said?
No.
Everyone understands?
I understand.
So what we'll do is, if there's no objections, go with the silent vote. Seeing none, okay, that's how we'll proceed.
Explain the logistics.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what you guys are gonna do. You get a piece of paper that AJ will hand to you. You write one name on it, and then you hand it to her. And then the highest number of votes will be our permanent, and the second highest votes, that'll be our alternate.
Okay, hold on, guys. This is, we gotta have respect when others are talking, so. Everyone understands what Commissioner Garcia just stated. Well, I had Vice President Nino first, then Representative.
Just clarification, if somebody doesn't get it, they might not want to be an alternative. So I don't know if that's your case, then let somebody know.
Well, if anyone doesn't want to be an alternative, then we should be doing it no matter what.
Yeah.
Party of Sanchez, good point.
Oh, I was gonna say, are we gonna go with her idea, or are we gonna go with the tally? The first, the highest number and the second highest number?
I think it is.
If there's no objections, we shall go with Commissioner Garcia's proposed idea, which is the highest number of votes will be permanent, and the other, second highest. So we'll just write them
I know, you don't, no, it's so, I guess.
Where's Dan?
Am I you?
Okay.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah, you can't be elected, Kevin. Yeah.
This is true.
She can only be elected. Send her as a thought.
Let's go. Can you pass those out, please? Let's go. Yes.
Since she's been Senate, she has to be elected.
Okay, so everyone's got a piece of paper.
You can't even vote.
Party of Sanchez,
So
can
I
you
will
please,
take me off the
yes,
voting.
can you please give that to someone who can vote?
I can vote.
Who doesn't have a piece of paper?
I don't have a plan of paper.
No, sir.
No.
Who does not have a piece of paper?
Well, I don't. Neither does Commissioner O'Reilly.
Come over. Okay, so Commissioner Garcia is going to read off the names, okay? Before you vote, okay?
Okay, Commissioner Castillo, Commissioner Khalid, Commissioner Hope Garcia, and Commissioner Torres.
Are you ready to first?
Yes.
As long as we can identify him. One more time, Commissioner Garcia.
Commissioner Castillo, Commissioner Khalid, Commissioner H. Garcia, and Commissioner Torres. Hope Garcia, please.
Okay, so please mark your votes and then pass them up.
Bless you.
Feels like high school.
Pretty nice.
This is the only time we'll allow you to pass notes.
Okay, I'm going to tally them up.
Sarah.
We know who's that one is.
That's it.
Yeah, where's my straw?
Where's my straw?
many board sections or
All right, results are in. Okay, so with a staggering 7 votes, number 1 is Hope Garcia. And then we're left with a tie between Castillo and Khalid, 2 votes each, and then Torres had 1 vote.
Is that for the sub?
Who's the tie?
Commissioner Castillo and Khalid.
Okay, hold on. What, repeat the other results besides Commissioner Garcia.
So 2 votes for Castillo and Khalid, and then 1 vote for Torres.
Okay? Great.
Roll call.
Breaks the tie.
Go with Commissioner. Castillo. Commissioner Castillo. Whoa. Okay. Who has the handout for the email sheet? Okay. On here we have 3 options. We can take a vote on what we would like the date to be on for cabinet, or we can just don't even have to vote on it. Yeah. Actually, that makes sense. I'll talk with the 2 individuals that have been voted on the committee and see what date works best for them, and then we'll push that to Vice President Nino and Senate, and then they can discuss it. Cool. Okay. Sounds good. Moving on now to item 8B. ASCC and Board of Trustees informational/discussion item, 5 minutes. Cabinet shall discuss and deliberate the meeting that will take place between ASCC and Board of Trustees. So essentially, this item on the agenda is just to start talking about the meeting that's going to take place. And we'll now open up discussion for 5 minutes. Does anyone want any background, any context?
Can I just get more info about it?
Yeah, so the Board of Trustees, I'm sure we're all aware of, these are the 7, Daniel?
Yeah.
7 individuals that are elected by our local cities, by their constituencies, and what they do is they make all final decisions for the institution, and everybody reports to them. The president superintendent, Dr. Lacey, reports to the board. They are the people who lay it down and make all the final decisions. Now, I think it was brought forward by Trustee Perez Salazar to have this meeting between ASCC and these 7 board members. Now this begs the question, how do we proceed? And who sits on that meeting? And that's where we're at right now. Before I get to Torres, Daniel, do you want to add anything?
If you're interested, and if you do it, I think there's going to be a nomination process or whatever. I don't know how you're going to figure it out, but you can reach out to me and I can help you formulate questions and give you more background on what we do so that you're well aware. For me, I focus on student debt and affordability. So if there's questions around tuition, then I ask the questions. So if you have an interest in safety, then you can ask a question about safety, and then we can provide resources or answers towards any issue you guys have.
Commissioner Kassim?
This is going to be open forum, meaning that we can come in there with, there's not a agenda, right? So we need to have,
I think there is going to be an agenda. Yeah.
They'll know the questions at a time.
Well, I don't know about certain questions, but there will be agenda items. So what we can do is take down suggestions from the cabinet on what we think as a cabinet should be put on that agenda. Commissioner, Trustee Flores, and then...
Yeah, pretty much what this now said. There's going to be an agenda, it's going to be recorded in Follow the Brown Act, and everything's going to be legit. Just how like you guys run your meeting, it's going to be exactly like that.
Okay. And this is open to the public?
Yes.
Okay. Public input.
Yes. Commissioner Ariano, and then Commissioner Jimenez.
Okay.
Come back to you. Come back to you. Commissioner Jimenez?
Sorry to step back for a minute, but, so we're gonna choose the number of cabinets, so we're gonna try to do the same amount of cabinet members, Senate members, the same way you said before, or it's just gonna be
that's up for the cabinet to decide, and if there's a motion made. I'm just a facilitator. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a maximum amount of students that can go to this meeting?
That can go to it or sit on it, sit in.
So if we don't get appointed to be a part of the meeting, we can leave and we go.
Yeah, just like public, it's good enough. Commissioner Torres?
I think it should be whoever wants to go. I mean, obviously, this is student government, student government and the board of trustees. So I think it should be as many board members, cabinet and senate members that want to go ahead and talk. I mean, obviously, we're all students here, so I think it'd be a great way for us to bring our experiences, those our positions, to the board of trustees and have them, discuss them or answer some questions. I don't see, not that saying that it's a bad thing, but I don't see the point of trying to appoint people to go to a meeting. Like I said, I think if people should say, I want to go, I have some concerns, but always remember that we're student government and students, so try to link those two together when we ask questions to the board of trustees.
Sure. Ariana, are you back?
Yeah, it was the same question.
Okay. Commissioner Garcia?
Well, that's why I asked my question if there's going to be an agenda and stuff like that, because I feel like or there was going to be an open forum, sort of like what we had at the leadership, how they were at a panel, and I know there was a facilitator and it worked out. We're keeping order in the house, but I feel that there's a lot of people who have great points that, might want to, that day that they think of it. I feel that agenda, I mean, if you guys want to stick to certain things to talk about, but someone might come out that we haven't spoken to say something.
Commissioner Garcia, Jimenez, and
I'm gonna actually piggyback on what she just said. With that leadership, because there was a set number of questions that they had to say, I don't really feel like we got to know the board.
Yeah.
Because of that situation, it actually kind of made it really dry. That's probably the only thing in leadership I think that anybody actually wrote down on a piece of paper that they said they actually didn't like. Was the fact that we didn't actually get to know our board of trustees. Is because those questions seemed like they were like
Given to them.
they were given to them, and they were like hand-fed. They were hand-fed those questions before they had an opportunity to be able to say what we wanted them to. Yeah, there you go. They were hand-fed to them, so they were able to know what they got to say instead of actually we got to hear what we really wanted them to say. Like, when you're in a board meeting, we actually get to know what they actually feel. Where this is an opportunity where we can actually have a feeling of who they really are, where they don't know what's going to come from the students.
Okay. Jimenez?
I don't think we necessarily have to write down the questions, but I do think that it's important that we go in there with a goal. I mean, there's a lot of problems with campus safety. That's a big issue. There's a lot of people. We should take the time to really either get a committee between Senate, cabinet, whatever necessary we need, and we can all input our points. And yeah, it's great that we have an audience, but we also don't want to have a void. We want to go in there with the purpose to say, these are the issues that are concerns to us. Can you address them? And I think that's important because when else are we going to get it in with the board? And it's the direct. They're extending an arm to us. We need to get proud of it really strongly and say this was important to us. So I think we should go in there with some kind of goal in mind.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Jimenez. With that, time has expired. Someone entertain the motion to extend time to 5 more minutes. Commissioner Torres.
I move to extend time for 5 more minutes.
So moved by anyone? Need a second. Second by Commissioner Jimenez. If no objections, we shall extend time for 5 more minutes. Seeing none, you'll be put on the queue. Commissioner Hickman.
To piggyback basically on what all of you guys said, I agree. I think that we should go in there with a goal. We should all basically gather up our concerns as students, and we all represent a different spot on this campus, such as, student center, the activities, the daytime activities, athletics. All of us represent a different aspect on campus. So if we can all figure out what in our departments needs fixing or needs to be changed or needs, is an issue that we want to address with the Board of Trustees, then we can all gather that, and then if we can get that all on, one sheet or one request, then we can add that on the agenda as, things that we want to talk about. So that way the agenda doesn't prohibit us from, talking about the concerns that we want, and it still allows us all to get across the issues that we want to address.
Very good point, Commissioner Hickman. It's well taken. Next, we have Victor.
Going on to what the Commissioner stated about having everyone being able to participate at the table, I believe that wouldn't be the proper structure to set up for an efficient meeting, because if we have all these seats that are being within the board, it would just make the meeting long. But if we go by having nominations, it'll just be like those who are nominated now have constituents who are, whoever wasn't appointed within the council, and the same with Senate, and the same with students. And I believe that way it'll be just like a regular board meeting where you have your own constituents who represent everyone else who's part of your now cabinet. It would make the process go a lot easier and more efficient.
Okay. Your point is well taken. Thank you, Senator Bill Lobos.
Yellows.
Always a question. Commissioner Ariano?
I think we should focus mostly on the major problems that the campus has, like campus safety, student success, because I feel when we just go to the meetings and that an agenda that they already have, I feel like we won't be staged, like we won't have opportunity to voice it. Also, since there's 7 board members, I feel that 3 branches. The Senate should have 3 members go to it, and then after 2 and 4 2, because that would balance it out. Or it could be 2 admin, 2 Senate, and 2 court, and 1 student at large.
Thank you, Commissioner Ariano. Next I have Daniel, but before then, point of person?
Yes.
On the queue. Hickman. Steve. Daniel?
Yeah, I'm out of the loop on like the logistics of it, so I think we need to ask more, because questions that have been asked are great, how many people do they want, also like where is this meeting gonna be held, because before we can like appoint people, we need to know like what's the agenda, all those questions about the agenda and where it's gonna be held at, because if it's held somewhere where we can accommodate more than 10 students, then we should do that, because I think that the more students we have, the more perspective and more people can have their input. I mean, one issue that's very important to me might be different from you. So if you want to be heard at the highest level, then we should have as many students as interested as possible. And also, it says that the time is up to us from this report. We also have to consider the time of the trustees. Some of them work during the mornings. So if you guys have night classes or cannot make it, we should all figure out the date and time so that you can prepare. These meetings go on for like 6 hours. I usually have a calendar and I make sure that I study before I attend these meetings, because sometimes I'll leave like at 1 and I have a test the next morning. So be thoughtful of that too. But I think we need to get more questions from Dr. Johnson or Dr. Contreras or one of the trustees. More information.
Very well point. Thank you, Daniel. Next, Antoine.
I think this is great. I think that would give student government a recommendation. I think every year at the beginning of the school year, either at the beginning of the school year or every semester, there should be a meeting already set for board of trustees in every branch. I think that would connect student government with board of trustees. This is just so random. I mean, obviously this would be the first one, and we're already like in March. So it's like if we have one if not me, because I'll be gone, but if student government has a meeting like at the beginning of this year, we could talk, okay, not me, but you guys, talk about, this is the goal for this year, so and so, any issues that students have. I think that would be more effective than just having these random meetings like in the middle of March when the school year is almost over and the semester is halfway, through its course. So I think it would be more efficient for next year if they're set either with student like this, student at large, or student government in general, or each branch, to see how each branch can help the board of trustees and how the board of trustees can help each branch.
I imagine that's something that the next president and vice president, that'd be a good question in the presidential debate, and you can propose to them if that's something they plan to do next year. We have a minute and 15 seconds left in discussion. Commissioner Hickman?
Yes, what Senator Villalobos said, about having all of us represented and, you know, sharing our information. What Daniel said, depending on where it is and how many people that we can house, if we can't house that many people, then we're gonna have to give our thoughts and our issues and our ideas to whoever is able to sit in on that meeting. You know, and if it's not very many people, if it's 3 people from each branch, if it's 4, if it's 5, we still should get together all of our issues and, like I said before, between all of our separate like categories, if you will, and then we can bring them together and present them to, you know, whoever whoever is appointed once we figure out, you know, the size and the location of where we're going to be at. But we should still all bring our issues together and have them all of us on the same page, so that way when we go, everybody knows the issues that are being presented and everybody knows, you know, what we want to talk about. So we're unified and we're together when we do this.
Awesome. Very well put. That time's expired. Is there a motion on the floor? Okay. Seeing no motion on the floor, I'd like to propose Daniel, Joe, and myself. We will garner more information in regards to this agenda item, and maybe we can draft an agenda, and then we'll bring that back to Senate. I'll bring it back to Cabinet, and we will adjust it as we see fit. Does this sound like a plan? Well, yeah, it was just a discussion item.
Oh.
Yeah, it was not action. Okay, moving on to item 8C, President and Vice President compensation, discussion/action item, 5 minutes. Cabinet shall take a stance on whether or not they believe the AACC President and Vice President shall be compensated from the AACC budget. Discussion's open for 5 minutes. So as many of you know, probably everyone in this room, everything that's going on right now is legit stuff. One of the things I ran on last year was to fight for my position and the vice president's position to be paid. That's what I wanted, and I didn't want that for any self-growth, for any economic reasons. I believed that those positions deserve to be paid because of the amount of work that they put in and what's expected of them on a consistent basis. And I felt that not having those positions paid exiled out such a large percentile of students from pursuing that position, thus not enabling them to pursue better leadership opportunities. And being a campus that advocates and supports diversity, that's not diversity in itself. That's falling short of social equity and social justice. So I fought for that position, and when I won, I said, I'm going to deliver. And I have delivered this year. Now, the way that it's been done has not been the best, and I've said that publicly numerous times, and I'm admitting it right now. It was not done in the best way. I've taken fault for that. That doesn't mean, though, that we have to stop here and stop the progression that we've made. And so I place this on the agenda for Cabinet to take a stance on whether or not they feel these positions should be paid from the AACC budget. Now, right now, the Budget Committee is meeting every Friday. Commissioner Jimenez, myself, and Vice President Nino on. And what this stance would do, yay or nay, it would go back to the Budget Committee and say, hey, the Executive Cabinet of AACC believes these positions need to be paid. Please budget it out somewhere in the budget. Thus, the President and Vice President next year would be compensated in one way or another from AACC. And that's what this agenda item is all about. Yep. Commissioner Castillo, Castillo, call him up, please. Castillo, Hickman, Garcia, Torres, Ariana. Victor. Hope you can put your.
You said Thursday twice.
No.
Brown? Okay, Castillo.
Okay, so, with all this, going on, obviously it didn't come to us in cabinet. I went to a couple Senate meetings and I saw everything going on there. And, I'm the kind of person that I like to digest things because I don't like to speak at the meeting, especially when my feelings are, involved, because I pride myself on student government. I've been a student government for 3 years, and it means a lot to me. I work with all of you here, and I've grown to care. I mean, I can't work alongside you and not care about each and every person here. We're all different. However, I just want to go on that as I work hard as a member of student government, so I can only begin to imagine all the responsibilities the student body president and vice president have to perform. I have met with several other community colleges when we go to General Assembly and all that, and I hear that their president and vice president, just like the student trustee and their delegates, some delegates get paid as well. So going back to that, for me, I commend you for even after everything that you've been going through, that you're still wanting to, work not just for yourself, but towards the next, cabinet, which is the next president and vice president. That shows me that you are not just thinking about yourself, that you're thinking further down the line, and that's where we want to move to. I personally, you guys have to understand how hard we work here. People who take it seriously and people who work hard, we work hard. We work really hard, So think about what we do and think about what our presidents and vice presidents do for us, especially if they're going to do a great job. So I personally would support at a reasonable rate. However, and I'm going to say this because I'm just going to be, I've processed it enough where I feel like I can say what I feel like I need to say. At a reasonable rate, I would support paying our president, vice president, just as we pay our student trustee. However, with that said, I'm going to end on a positive note. With that said, everything that happened, we're not talking about it now, but I didn't agree with the process, and I'm glad that you're taking, saying, I've said it several times, that, I'm taking fault for it. Although, however, it wasn't you, because you didn't hire yourself. You know what I mean? But I'm grateful for that. And ending on a positive note, which is I love to always end on a positive note, is that if I haven't said it to each and every one of you here, I appreciate all the work you guys put into student government. Everything that you guys do, whether small, you guys do what you can, and we make a difference. So I wanted to thank everyone that I work with.
Okay, seeing that there's a large amount of names on here, would someone entertain the motion to extend time to 10 minutes? Motion by Commissioner Torres to extend time to 10 minutes, so moved.
May I amend the motion to a minute per speaker?
Yes, you may. There's been a motion to amend the motion to have 10 minutes of discussion for 1 minute per speaker. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Torres. Is there any objections? Seeing no objections, we shall have speakers have 1 minute with a total of 10 minutes for discussion. Hold on. Commissioner Hickman?
Yes, so I'm gonna agree with Sulema slightly with a different perspective. I agree with the fact that presidents and vice presidents not being paid prohibits people who are less fortunate with their financial stability from going and pursuing these high-level jobs to go and do all the work that they do. So I do agree that not being compensated financially does keep people from going and running for president and vice president. I also don't agree with how it was gone about and how everything happened, and how in the beginning it was said that it was not specifically for president and vice president, and now that it is, so I wish that it was presented that it was for the president and vice president specifically ahead of time. For future, I do agree that presidents and vice presidents should be paid so that the future presidents and vice presidents have the opportunity to give it their all without leaving early and things like that, because aside from the president and vice president that are currently here, I know in the future a lot of people are going to want to help people and want to have that want to have the feeling to help others, but still be able to put their effort into it. So that's what I'm saying.
Commissioner Garcia?
Don't make me next, please.
What?
Don't make me next, please.
Because you said please.
So you can do last.
Can you add it to the list?
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Torres.
Oh, I didn't read.
Yeah. Commissioner Jimenez.
My only concern is the people, how would it be done? Would it be in the form of stipend, or would it be then distributed on a, semester basis? Is it gonna be done through HR? Because if it's gonna be done through HR, then it shouldn't come from ACC, then we have to think about the logistics. I would like to have more information in terms of what we are, especially from the budget aspect directly. I need to understand how we're gonna be gratuitous, this, how we're gonna measure the hours. If it's gonna go through our HR department, then we have to go directly to district and have a draft of paperwork that explains that. If it's gonna come through ACC, I think as a unit, as a government unit, we need to decide a part in constitution by law and how we're gonna define the outlaws of those jobs, what you're gonna be doing. How is it gonna be paid in the form of stipend, how we're gonna break it down monthly, weekly, whatever it is we're gonna do. Okay, so I think that's something that we have to consider.
Absolutely, and very well said and very good insight. This is vague though. This is essentially just saying cabinet, one way or another, we want these positions paid. That would be something that we could discuss in the budget committee, looking at our funds when we have them in front of us, how we want to split it up, and get the opinion from Dr. Contreras if we want to go through HR. Well, those are excellent questions that need to be addressed if we indeed decide to support these positions in terms of compensation. Victor?
Just want to say, I believe it's a great idea to be able to set this up for future presidents and vice presidents. Kind of going off with all you said, this is ACC money. I'd like to see how it's drafted, how they're getting paid, how many hours and whatnot. Because as a student, I'll be paying for those positions with my fees. And if we could get it from the district, that'd be even better. But I think it's a great idea, and I'd like to make a request of you for our vice president to have that presented to Senate.
Thank you, Senator Villalobos. Commissioner Garcia, can you please make a note to have this presented to the Senate? Thank you, sir. Do you have that, Senator? The annually been added to the queue, and is there a motion on the floor before we continue to eradicate the original motion to have discussion for 10 minutes, because there's more than 10 people in this queue.
I move to extend for an added 10 minutes? Yeah.
So the motion on the floor is to eradicate the old motion and just have it as 1 minute per speaker. If there's no objections, that's how we shall proceed. Excellent. Thank you for that. Commissioner Ariano, 1 minute, sir.
I'm a political science major, so I'm seeing this from the perspective of political science. The president, the vice president, I agree they should get paid. Yes, the process was not done properly, but what I think they should be paid at the same rate that the board of trustees gets paid. And also, if we're going to go about this, we need to amend the bylaws and add it to the responsibilities of the president and the vice president, so it can be done the proper way and the way that it's structured to be done. That's the only point of view that I have, and I think it should come from Senate, so it can be done properly, and it will be set in place for the next administration that comes after this administration.
Thank you, sir. Point is very well taken. Commissioner Brown.
Basically, the same thing you mentioned. I totally agree with it. I think that it should be paid.
Online.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Garcia, are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
2 seconds.
Actually, you're right. Commissioner Garcia.
Okay. I just wanted to piggyback on what Ariano said. I do believe that's very fair to pay the president, vice president, the same amount as the student trustee. Done properly, maybe not from the ACC budget. I think it should come from the right account, since it's going through HR. This will be a short-term hourly position. I do believe one good reason would be because if we have a president, for our future presidents, vice presidents, many of them will have a part-time job on the side, but we do want them to be able to, to work here on campus, so they're not having to leave, come back, so we can have them spend more time here where they should be, so they can maybe dedicate more time where they're getting paid for something they're already doing. I just think it's more efficient and it gives us more time. It gives allows them to do their job. That's it.
Very well point is well taken. Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. Moving on now to Commissioner Mancia.
Okay, so I just want to say that I've spoken to many previous presidents and vice presidents, and a lot of them have expressed to me that they're actually they're for the president right now and vice president getting paid, because previously, I mean, from their experience of going through all the hardships and all the hard work that they've had to do and not being able to get paid is really hard, and it's a huge restraint on their time schedule and their academics and their personal life. So therefore, I can even bring, if you need me to bring people that have previously been presidents and vice presidents to speak for this, because it's a valid reason that we can get the vice president and president to get paid. Moving on, jobs can also stop people from going for the opportunity to run for president, vice president. Therefore, by paying our vice president and president, we can get more people to come on board and give them the opportunity. Also, this promotes lots of jobs for the future, and this actually helps us come to the next level in student government. Even though we are in a JC, other JCs do pay their student government leaders. I agree with the Commissioner of Budget and Finance. We do need to see how this is going about, and we need a transparency, because it wasn't fair that a lot of people are against this because of that. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Mancia. Very a lot of insight in that 1 minute. Thank you. Daniel?
Be careful when you bring in the student trustee compensation, because they're two completely different things. The student trustee compensated because of board of trustees. So there's 7 individuals who are equally compensated. So when you talk about the student body president, student body vice president, that's something completely different, because we have different roles, different duties, and different tasks that we do. Not saying one less is less than the other, but just they're two completely different things. So also when you talk about the student trustee, please bring numbers into how much he's getting paid. Please bring numbers into what other positions in other community colleges that's paid, so we can have context before we just shout, just let's get them paid, without having any actual arguments on, or ration on what is the rate that we're going to pay them. And I also believe, why are we just stopping at the vice president and the president? Zulema brought up a good point, that you guys all do hard work, so all of you should be compensated. Just don't stop at the presidency, but let's go after all the officers and get them all compensated, because all of you do work. And if you're saying that you cannot do work because of the money, well, let's keep growing and keep pushing that envelope further.
Thank you, student trustee Flores. Very well insight. Vice President Nino.
Yes. I just wanted to say that I think this is, step one. And the decision that you guys are making is whether or not you want to go about that path. And then the logistics and the details of it are going to be, the second, third, and fourth. So I think step one, whatever you guys feel the student body would want, is how you should go about it. Yep, my point.
Excellent clarification. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Castillo? Okay. What? That's okay. Party of Sanchez.
You're right.
1 minute.
Yes, so I'd like to commend this because it's not beating the dead horse. We're actually looking forward for next year, which is good, because that's exactly what we need to be doing. We need to look for what we want to do in July. What are we going to do? Do we want them to be paid? Yes, no. We have to decide this as a student government together, as a whole. Who do we want to get paid? How much do we want them to get paid? How do we want them to get paid? Do we want them to get paid through ASCC? Do we want them to have a stipend? Do we want to change the way that the president and vice president get their stipend? Is it going to be a personal stipend? Because the impression I have now is it's business stipend. Or you only do it for business. So we really need to look through these and figure out how we want to go about this as a student government for next year.
Excellent, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that point. Vice President Dean? Not granted, sir, I need that.
Very good at work, guys.
Thank you for making this time. Is there anyone left that would like to speak? Commissioner Garcia and Chief Justice Lopez.
I think that due to the fact that, I spoke at Senate last week, and I cleared up my thought process of the whole situation and how we started this pilot program, because that's really, huh? Okay. I spoke in Senate last week, and I said that we started this pilot program, because that's exactly what it was. It was a pilot program, if you really think about it. This is the first time that the student government had decided to do this out of the open place for you and how you would talk. And you guys took upon this idea of being paid this year, and it went through. And yes, it had its kinks, and yes, it wasn't necessarily transparent the way that it should have been. I understand, and now I'm going to probably go over, which is the problem. But is it what we need for the school? Yes, it's a great idea, because most colleges at this rate, and even four-year colleges, pay their board of trustees, they pay the students at large, they pay the president, they pay the vice president, because a lot of times the president is actually the board of trustees. Believe it or not, they're actually usually dual hat. So they're actually being paid. And I know I'm going to go over my, can I actually ask to go over my time?
There has been a motion to have time limited for 1 minute per speaker, so unless there's a motion made to extend that time. Commissioner Torres?
I motion to postpone.
To what?
2 minutes.
Is there a second? Second by Party Whip Sanchez. No objections, we shall extend time for 2 minutes per speaker.
Reasonably speaking, we're coming to a crossroad for next year. And is this a good thing for this community college? Yes. And is it a positive? Yes. Now the question is, should this be coming out of the ASCC funds, or should this be coming from district? Equity is where the funds came from, which means it is money that we needed to use up before December, and that's where the funds came from. That's why it didn't come out of district. Now here's the question. Would it be better that this money is faceted from district, so that we don't have this problem in the future, or would this money be faceted from our own ASC funds, and it'd be money that we could utilize from us? I still think that it should be faceted out of district money versus our own ASCC funds, our own funds, because if you look at the bigger picture, you're using our funds, but we could actually use a district the same way that the Board of Trustees is, because you guys are permanent. You are permanent people that are going to be here on campus, and it's not going to change. It's not going to change over the years. The student body president and the student body vice president are going to change. As far as the commissioners and the cabinet members, those funds can be used for ASCC. Those funds that we should look at. Those are the jobs that we should look at as work study jobs. That's something that could be faceted. That's an idea. That's something that we can use starting next year. That would be an idea of finding placements for the individuals here in the cabinet and in court that could be used to help pay other individuals for everything and the extra duties that we've been doing, where we could actually utilize that money to help starting to pay the other students. Your position and the vice president's position should be paid from district. But the individuals in cabinet, the individuals in court, those extra individuals like Salima has been doing for ICC, those jobs could be used as a work study job that we could pay out of our own funds.
Thank you for that insight, Commissioner Garcia. Yes.
I really wanted it next, I have to go.
Okay, well, let me just say this real quickly. Granted, this is, all of your opinions are encouraged and welcomed, and I think this is a very rich discussion on where we think these funds should come from. But essentially, this is just saying, hey, we're taking a stance to support it. Well, it does say technically from the AACC budget. So we can choose how to go through with this. Commissioner?
I move for cabinet to take a stance on whether the president and vice president should be paid.
From, hold on, stance of approval?
Yeah.
From the AACC budget?
No, I'm saying like what we're doing right now.
Okay, hold on.
Taking a stance on whether we take.
Commissioner Lopez?
just a point, it's not an opinion, just for you guys to consider. We currently take 2 salaries of 60,000 out of ACC budget, so perhaps we could move those salaries and have district paid, because they're not positions that have to do nothing, with ACC. Too bad that the Commissioner of Budget and Finance left, because I'm sure she's aware of it. So, and perhaps instead of paying those 2 salaries, which are very nice salaries, I think 60,000 a year, we could pay our president and vice president. So it's something just for you to consider. That's it.
Okay, this is. This is how we're going to proceed. So, would someone entertain the motion just to have the positions paid and not from a specific location?
Yes.
Yes, that makes more sense.
Okay, so do you want to continue your motion, or?
Yes, that was my motion.
Okay. Say it.
So, say it again. Okay, so I move for cabinet to take a stance on whether the president and vice president should be paid, not specifically from which account.
I second.
Stance of support. Okay, there's been a second by Commissioner Garcia. If there's no objections, are there any objections?
On the support of just not a certain account as of right now. I
Okay,
second.
all right, so without any objections, the motion passes that AACC's executive cabinet takes a stance of approval for the president and vice president to be paid from no specific account yet.
We got something.
I knew where I was going with that, right?
Okay, item 8, if that's a motion.
Yeah, before you guys leave, I have to go. Committee, cabinet member.
Okay, hold on, before anyone leaves yet, I need you to also ask first, before you leave. I didn't respond. Granted. Hold on, let's quorum check with Commissioner Garcia.
Okay. Oh, shit. Okay, that's. Well, that's 6. Wait, did you leave 2 months yet?
I had to leave at 3.
At 3?
Well, I
Okay.
had to leave at 3.
Table.
Okay, hold on. I just need quiet for like 30 seconds.
Okay, with Hope, Michelle, Sulema, and Hector leaving, then we'll be down to 5. We lose a quorum, and this is no longer.
I'm trying to even think if that vote was valid though, without quorum.
Yeah. 9.
We had 9?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Commissioner Garcia and Ariano, point of person privilege, that means we're gonna,
You don't matter.
okay, Commissioner Sanchez.
Party Whip?
Party Whip Sanchez.
I have to postpone all the other agenda items till next week.
Motion on the floor is to postpone item
So like at the next day.
to next week's meeting is 8C, D, and E. Are there any objections?
Yeah.
second.
No, D, E, F, sorry.
Can I say
You have
something
to-
real quick before we leave?
Yes.
Sorry guys, we didn't get to talk about Falcon Games, but I guess that Monday, Falcon Games starts Tuesday with the decathlon. So I'll pass these around. Like last time, you guys could please be there and help me with this event. That would be awesome. So we can make it
So
better.
just follow up with an email.
Yes.
Okay, so please sign up for that.
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I emailed some of you guys.
Please keep it down while
with a
Commissioner
question.
Muncie is talking.
I emailed some of you guys the question, and Miles emailed you guys again to just remind you guys that I do need some surveying response for this question that I asked. That it's basically asking what are the attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors of an effective instructor. This is just to get your point of your perspective on what you believe is a good instructor, and any short answer would help. So please email me back. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner
And I'll get
Muncie.
one.
Motion on the floor, and there's a second to postpone items D and E. Is that correct?
No, D, E, F, because there's 2 C's in the agenda.
Yeah, we're down at 4.
Okay, so C, D, and F, and hold on. Is there any objections to postponing the items? Seeing none, items C, D, and F are postponed until next week. With that, since we lose quorum, we'll adjourn this meeting at 3:29 p.m.
Last year I was here. What?